Today, we're going to talk about a really simple but honestly super powerful strategy that the best companies are using to fix a crazy expensive problem: new hires leaving way too soon. And it all comes down to just one key relationship. All right, let's get into it.
First things first, we really have to understand what's at stake here. There is this high-pressure, make-or-break window of time that pretty much perfectly predicts whether your new hire is going to be a long-term win or an early exit.
And this is the big question. Every single new employee, whether they're thinking about it actively or not, is asking themselves this from the minute they walk in the door. And believe me, they come up with an answer a lot faster than you'd probably guess. Because, get this, a staggering 90% of employees decide if they're going to stay with a company or leave, all within their first 6 months. Just 6 months. That is such a short window to make a good, lasting impression.
And when they do decide to leave, it's way more than just a headache for HR. You've got to think about the cost of replacing them, the recruiting fees, sure, but also the lost productivity for the whole team and the hit to morale. It's a serious financial blow.
So how do you fix this leaky bucket? How do you make absolutely sure your new people feel like they've made the right call? Well, the top-performing companies have an answer, and it's probably simpler and more human than you think. Let me introduce you to the peer mentor. You might call them an onboarding buddy. Now, this isn't their manager, and it's not a formal trainer. This is a friendly, experienced coworker whose whole job is to help the new person figure things out. Everything from where to find stuff to, all those unwritten rules of the office. Now, let's be super clear about this, because this is the most important part. A mentor is not the manager. The mentor is that safe person you can ask these so-called silly questions that you probably never ask your actual boss. They're your guide to the culture, the social stuff. Your manager, on the other hand, is focused on your tasks, your performance, your career path. That separation is absolutely critical for this to work. And this isn't just some idea from the top. New hires are practically begging for this kind of help. More than half of them, 56%, say that having a buddy is really important when they're starting a new job. They want this. This isn't just about warm, fuzzy feelings. Putting a peer mentor program in place delivers real, measurable, data-backed results. So let's look at the 4 biggest wins you get from this. Okay, first up, productivity. There's this incredible study from Microsoft that shows a direct line between the two. New hires who met their buddy just 2 or 3 times in the first 90 days felt 73% more productive, which is great. But look what happens when they meet more. Get them together 8 or more times, and that number jumps to a whopping 97%. It's so clear, more connection means faster contribution. Second, and this is the big one, retention. The numbers here are just, wow. So companies that have mentorship programs see a 72% retention rate for their new hires. And companies that don't, it drops all the way down to 49%. That is a huge difference that speaks directly to your bottom line. The third win is all about satisfaction. By that 90-day mark, the new folks who have an onboarding buddy are 36% more satisfied with their whole experience. They just feel more supported, more confident, and way more positive about their choice to join your team. But let's step back from the numbers for a second and think about the message this sends. From day one, you're basically telling every new person, hey, we invest in you. You're not on your own here. We've got your back. That is an incredibly powerful thing to communicate. And the fourth win, it's not just about the new person. The mentors themselves are 6 times more likely to get promoted. Why? Well, being a mentor develops their leadership skills, makes them happier in their own job, and just makes them a more valuable part of the organization. It's a win-win, truly. So, with benefits this obvious, the question isn't if you should do this, but how. How do you actually build one of these programs? Let's get into the practical playbook and lay out a simple, actionable plan. Okay, it really boils down to 5 pretty straightforward steps. 1, pick the right mentors. You want people who are empathetic, patient, and respected. 2, give them training. Don't just throw them in. Clarify what's expected. 3, match them up and introduce them early, like before day 1 if you can. 4, encourage them to actually meet regularly. Suggest a cadence, but keep it flexible. And 5, the most important one maybe, get feedback and evolve the program. Use surveys, ask questions, and constantly make it better. So when you put all these pieces together, you start to see that a peer mentor program isn't just another box to check on the onboarding list. No, it's actually a foundational part of building your company's culture. And this, right here, is the key takeaway. you are fundamentally changing your approach. Onboarding stops being this cold, logistical process of paperwork and setting up a computer, and it becomes a human-centric journey, one that's focused on connection and making people feel like they belong.
So, to wrap it all up, the results of making that shift are massive strategic advantages you just can't afford to ignore. Your people get up to speed faster, they stick with you longer, your entire culture gets stronger and more collaborative, and you start building your next generation of leaders from the ground up. So we'll leave you with this one last question to think about. I want you to take a really honest look at how you bring people into your company and ask yourself this: is it just a process designed to fill out forms? Or is it a genuine welcome designed to help them belong and succeed? The answer to that could change everything.